Hey everybody, this is Mike Jensen. I'm going to show you two ways to process HDR images, one in Lightroom and one in Photoshop. They both have kind of the same process, although the one in Photoshop gives you just a little bit better results from a sharpness perspective if that's what you're looking for. So I am in Lightroom, and the three middle images here are the images I'm going to use. Here's the one on the left, which is the regular exposure. The one on the middle is the dark, and the one on the right is two stops up. So what I'm going to do is just select all three of them in Lightroom. And I do a lot of things with right clicks and keyboard shortcuts, so I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to Photo Merge. And I'm going to click HDR. And up it comes. Very nice and fast. I click Auto Align and Auto Settings, which means it's going to kind of crop itself together if the images aren't quite aligned. And I can also click Create Stack if I want to. That creates an image they're stacked together. So if you're not used to stacked images in Lightroom, I would recommend not doing that. I typically leave it unstacked because I like to go back and just see what images made up what, and I might want to rework them, things like that. So I'm going to click Merge, and in the upper left-hand corner of Lightroom, you'll see the progress bar, and it's just moving along. It says Creating HDR. And in just a moment, down in the thumbnail area here, we'll see actually we'll see it on the big screen too in the grid, a new image appear, and here we go. Here it is. So you can see, if you're looking at these images, and I'll bring up the develop module so it's a little easier to notice. Here is the regular exposure first time. Here is the HDR exposure on the left. So you can see there's a lot richer darks, there's a lot richer yellows, there's a lot more in the sky than there was before, and clearly this is a really cool way to work up images. If I click on the regular image, you can see over here in the develop slider area there is nothing changed. But if I click on the HDR image, you can see that it's made some changes. It's lowered the exposure a little bit. It's lowered the highlights, brought up the shadows, changed the whites, the blacks, things like that. The vibrance is up, saturation's up. So it's done a lot of things in here to merge these guys together and really give you a nice, cool image. So the next method I'm going to show you is Photoshop, because I know some people only use Lightroom, some people only use Photoshop. Some people don't do anything, so if that's you, then go get a beer. All right, once again, I'm going to select all three images, and again, I'm going to right-click, and you can do these in the menus, but it's a lot faster just by right-clicking. I'm going to go up here to Edit, and I'm going to go down to Merge to HDR Pro in Photoshop. And this will take a little bit of time to work through because there's a little bit more processing involved. So you can see it's bringing up all of the different three images into Photoshop. It's analyzing them. It's thinking about it. What do I want to do? And it's going to bring me up a dialog screen here in just a minute. So here's the dialog screen. I'm going to click on 32-bit, which is where mine defaults to now. And if I think I have any ghosting, if I had any wind or breeze or anything at all, I could click Remove Ghosts. I didn't really have any, but that's all right. We'll click on it. The bottom right-hand corner where it should say OK, it's going to say Tone in ACR. That stands for Adobe Camera Raw. It's the same set of sliders that you have in Lightroom in the Develop module. The big difference, when you click on 32-bit, it allows the pixels just to get a little bit sharper, and you have a lot more clarity in your image. So if that's important on the image you're working on, then try doing it in Photoshop. A lot of people are intimidated by Photoshop, but you just kind of have to take baby steps and learn how it works and learn how it works for you. So it's churning and burning, it's thinking. And granted, this is a little bit longer than things take in Lightroom, but you get a little different product. So here we are. We are in Photoshop now. We're in Adobe Camera Raw. And here are my sliders. And I can do anything I want to with my sliders. But you'll notice I've got really nice rich greens. I've got really nice rich yellows. It's very crisp. Things that are in focus, that should be in focus. And I'm happy with this. So I'm just going to click OK. And then I'm going to save this back into Lightroom. So here's our image. And you can see that there's a little bit of difference between what you get in Lightroom and what you get in Photoshop. Here is the image that we had in Lightroom. You can see it did some different things with the colors in the sky, but the foreground and the flowers are not quite as crisp and sharp as they are in this one. And so it really boils down to, what do you want to do? What do you have time for? Do you like Lightroom? Do you like Photoshop? If I wanted to, in this Photoshop image, I could grab a neutral density filter, just pull that down a little bit. If it still has settings from last time you used it, all you have to do is double click on Effect, and that will take care of it. And then a lot of times I'll just go down here and I'll grab a color. And you know, that will take care of some things, and that'll give me a little bit more. If I need to drop down the highlights with that color, I can do that. Maybe I need to adjust the temperature a little bit. That might help too. So I just click Done, and I've got a nice kind of pink tint to the image. So that's HDR in Lightroom. That's HDR in Photoshop. You can choose which one you like most. I like to work back and forth in both of them because I'm comfortable in both of them. But the key tool is just make sure that you have enough time to learn to work through the process, and that you are evaluating the different images that you get. All right? Hope you enjoy it. Thank you.